Today we'll make pepper steak penne pasta. And here's what you need to make that pasta. You need steak, butter, diced tomatoes, crushed tomatoes. You know what? I'm going to use crushed tomatoes, but you can use tomato sauce. And the diced tomatoes, make sure you drain them when you use them. So just making sure I got that right. But you can use tomato sauce. I just went with crushed tomatoes. All right. La Preferita Sazon. And don't use the MSG next to it. I'm not going to use that. Sometimes I use accent, but I am not. That is just sitting there today. I'm not going to use it. Basil. Italian seasoning. All right. Garlic powder. Onion powder. All right. Meat tenderizer. Make sure it's unseasoned meat tenderizer. Make sure of that. Crushed red pepper flakes. Green pepper, onion, pasta, 2 different kinds of cheeses. I'm going to use a parmesan and a mozzarella, but it's up to you. You use whatever kind of cheese you normally top your pasta with. All right, let's get started. What you want to do here is you want to start your water to boiling. You want to generously salt it. So you want to put more salt than you would normally put in your food. You want to put it in your pasta. You don't want no bland pasta, especially that thick penne pasta. I'm going to list the ingredients and the measurements down below in the description box. So don't worry about it. I got you for sure. All right, now the first thing we want to do after we boil that water is we want to make sure you wash your meat off. You want to pat it dry. So you need water running all over your cutting board while you're trying to cut. How about that? So make sure you dry it. All right, slice it thin. You don't need to slice it ribbon thin, but you need to slice it very thin. That pasta is going to boil quickly, and you want to make sure that your meat is ready just as quickly as the pasta gets ready. So make sure you cut this meat very, very thin. So you need a sharp knife for this one. You wouldn't be using no dull knives, darling. Make sure. All right, I'm going to leave the fat on my steak too. That's a little piece of bone I'm going to cut off, but I want to point out that I'm leaving the fat on my steak. If you want to cut yours off and make the dish leaner, you can do that. All right. Watch your fingers there. Just cut carefully. You see how thin the slices are? That's how you want it. All right. They're ready. Now let's season it. So you can use whatever seasonings you want to use, or you can use the ones that I suggested right there. The onion powder, the garlic powder, the La Preferita seasoned salt, and make sure you put the unseasoned meat tenderizer on. It helps. Since the meat is going to be getting ready quicker. We don't want no tough old piece of meat, that's for sure. Nope. Yes, we need melt in your mouth tender pieces of steak. This pasta is so good. Okay, make sure you mix it up like that. You want to get an even amount of seasoning on every slice of that steak if you can, if it's at all possible. This is a quick, easy recipe, so trust me, it's going to move very quickly, but trust me, it cooks just as quickly. All right, in goes the penne pasta. It's a little thicker, so in rule of thumb for pasta is usually 8 minutes. This one is going to go for anywhere between 11 and 13 minutes. So give it a little stir. There, you don't necessarily need to put the top back on it. I don't boil my pasta with a top, but if you do, that's fine. Give it a little stir. You do not need to put oil. I know some people boil their pasta with oil in it. It's not necessary to put any olive oil or any other kind of oil. All right, next we're going to move on to browning the meat. So you want to get a little bit, if you got a nonstick pan, then you want to get a little bit of oil in it. There's my baby on the floor. He's getting bored because I'm cooking now, so I'm not paying the attention to him I usually do. Gammy will be ready soon. Okay, get your peppers and your onions in. So we want to get a little seasoning on top of the pepper and the onions. As I say, season every step of the way. Yes, the meat is seasoned, but you still want to put a little bit on top of your vegetables. Just a little bit. You want to oversalt your dish, but since we got a whole can of crushed tomatoes over there, or sauce if you're using that, that's not going to be seasoned, then, of course, it doesn't matter if you put a heavy amount of seasoning right here, because believe me, you will have to season after adding that sauce to everything. So, all right, we want to let this go. Now, the thing about it is you don't need to brown the meat until you actually see it crispy and browning. You just need to get this meat done. You need to get it fork tender. because the thing about it is it's going in sauce. So since it's going in sauce, you don't need to brown it for presentation purposes. It's not necessary. So you just want to get it done. That's what we're trying to do. So you got your peppers and onions in with your steak. Ooh, smells like it. So pepper steak pasta, and feel free if you want to put more peppers. It really is pepper steak pasta. So feel free to put more peppers in there, and you can use the tricolor peppers too if you want to. You can use the orange, the yellow, and the red. Those are sweeter peppers, but they'll still work, especially if you're trying to do like dinner for two. Ooh, yes, baby. Put that color in there so it can be beautiful. So we're going to let it go for a little bit. Yep, just let it go for a little bit. Put a little more oil in that. We can get it to frying up really good. Burn, baby, burn. Yes. All right. All right, you want to get your seasonings mixed in there well, so make sure you turn it like I'm doing. All right. Let's get it. Let's go. So I'm going to show you the entire process of this pasta. So I'm going to let this meat go while the pasta is still boiling. I'm going to let it do its thing, baby. Let it do its thing. Mm-hmm. All right. You can use another kind of pasta in here too. So if you just think about it, you don't have to use penne pasta if you don't want to. You can use some other shapes of it and it'll still work for it. Not spaghetti though. Don't use that one. All right, we want to keep it stirred. You see it's starting to brown. You see we still have a couple pink pieces in there, but it's starting to. And for this, if you're that rare steak kind of person and you don't like your meat well done, then you can cook your meat and vegetables separately because you want to get your vegetables cooked down really good. So those onions almost until they're translucent, and then you cook the green peppers as much as you want to cook them. So if you like them a lighter green and closer to the raw side, that's okay too. But I've got children eating today, so I'm going to cook mine all the way. So I'm going to cook the meat well done, and I'm going to cook the vegetables all the way until those green peppers are really dark, so they're really done. But this could work any way that you want to cook that part of it, the meat and veggie part of it. It'll work. So there's no right or wrong way to do this. So you want to put oregano, Italian seasoning, and basil, you can. All right. That's good. I'm trying to keep it in a single layer in the pan if I can, as close to that as I can. So it's going to cook a little quicker, so. All right, and goes some more herbs. Yes. Smells so good. I'm using dried herbs, but if you want to use fresh herbs, you can. You can, but don't overpower your dish by putting too much. So you keep tasting along the way. Anytime you're cooking anyway, taste along the way. Make sure you got the kind of flavor you're looking for every step of the way. Well, taste, taste, taste is important. All right. So I've designed these tutorials so that if you're a vet and you want to watch, that's fine. But if you're a new cook, I try to show every step of the way what it's going to look like, what it's doing, so that you can make sure you have it right. If you have questions right then, they will almost always be answered so that you can get your dish right. All right, so if you're looking to make it exactly the way that I'm making it, then that's why the tutorials are stretched out like this, just so you can get it and you'll know it. But if you're a vet, you're probably going to add some different ingredients, some different spices, herbs, and that's really okay because this is really a flexible dish and you can. All right. Yes, I'm moving while I'm talking. I cannot help it today. For some reason, I'm in one of these chipper moods, as you say, so I'm ready to move around. Yes, my glass of wine is on the side and my music is going. All right. In a chipper mood, but I am relaxed. All right. Black pepper on there. So I'm not going to put the crushed red pepper in with the meat. And the reason why, now that's accent, but the reason why I'm not going to do it is because I have children eating today. And if I didn't have children eating, then I probably would put crushed red pepper in at this point and then some more at the end on the top of it because I like crushed red pepper on my pasta and the cheese. So, but that's why I'm not putting a lot of pepper here because I have to watch out for the children when they're eating with me. All right. And my son is a picky eater. That he is. My grandson is not, but my son is. So if you've got a picky eater at home, then you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, all right, that's what you want. You want those peppers to start cooking down. And you can see the meat is brown. That's what we want. All right, so I'll usually fry it and brown it some more for most dishes, but it's just not necessary for this one. And you'll see why at the end when I plate it. You'll see why. It's not necessary to do that. It's going to be covered in sauce anyway, so you just want to get it done. So, okay, so you see those onions like that? You can cook it until they're translucent, but you can leave it like that. It'll still work. And that's what I like about this dish. The flexibility is great. And so is the taste. So, all right, now you don't want to make your pasta al dente. So that's what you have to think about when you're doing this. It's a really thick pasta, but you do not. Because if you leave this one, this thick penne pasta, if you leave this al dente, it's going to be hard and it's going to have a raw taste. So it's not one of those pastas you can do that with. So I'm just checking it now, and then I'm going to show you what I mean by al dente, which translates to the tooth. So it looks like a tooth on the inside, white. So it's white and hard. And some dishes, man, I hope you can see that. Because some dishes, that's okay. So you see that white ring right there? It's a little blurry, but it's there. And that's what you don't want in the pasta this time. You want to cook this penne pasta all the way. It's a firm pasta and it's going to hold up in the dish even after you put the sauce. So it doesn't make a difference if you cook it all the way. You just don't want to leave it al dente. Not for this one. All right, so that's almost ready. So as you can see, though, that pasta needs to go for a few more minutes and it's going to be ready. So this meat mixture, it's basically ready. Just looking at it, it's basically ready. So it's no big deal. You see how quick that cooked? This is done before the pasta is done, so you think about it. So really quick meal. So if you don't feel like cooking or you're in a hurry, you press for time, this is one you can do. And you can do this in under 30 minutes, especially if you prep before. So especially if the night before you have to make this or the morning of, you slice that steak and you chop those veggies up. You got it. All you have to do is come home and put it together. So you can see after the chopping, once you get that pasta boiled, your meat mixture is ready. So all you'll have to do is put your dish together. So you'll just have to mix it up and bam, it's done. So this is really quick. It's good and it's something different. So we usually put ground meat in our pastas, but this sliced steak it's really good. So try it. I think you'll like it. However, let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you did anything different, if you added anything or took anything away. Let me know. I like suggestions, and I'll try things sometimes. I like trying new things. I like to experiment with food, but in a good way. So if I see a suggestion I like, I'll try this again using that suggestion from one of you guys. All right, because I love cooking. All right, so you see the peppers, you see the onions. So the peppers aren't the darkest green they can be, but they are done. So if you wanted to, you could cook that mixture some more, longer than I'm going to cook it. So you can actually brown that meat if that's what the way you like to make yours. If you like your steak like that, almost like when you sear that steak, you know how that brownness, you can actually brown that steak right there like that. It imparts a little more flavor when you do, but this dish, if you season it well, then it won't make a difference if you brown that meat or not. So just season every step of the way and you got it. This is a good one. And tell me if you used a different kind of cheese from the ones I have, the Parmesan and the mozzarella mixture. Tell me if you use some other kind of cheese, because that'll be interesting. 'Cause I always like to sample cheeses when I go in Mariano's. I like to sample. They have a nice cheese section, and they always have some out you can sample. So I always like to try new cheeses. But of course, I'm a wine person, so cheese and crackers, baby, for a snack. All right, so what I'm doing now is I'm testing a piece of the meat. I just want to see if it pulls apart easily. So yes. So I wanted to see if it was fork tender, so you can tell with your fingers. If you pull it apart and it pulls right apart, it's done. And it's tender enough for you to cut with a fork if you don't want to put that whole piece in your mouth. So that's what we want to make sure we can do. And that's good for me. I'm now going to drain the pasta. Don't rinse it. Don't make it cold. So you want to drain the pasta. Take that pasta water off the pasta back in the pot. But this time, because we have so much sauce and the diced tomatoes, don't save any of the pasta water because you won't need it. Well, sometimes I'll tell you to save that pasta water. So if your pasta mixture gets too thick, you can put some of that water in it and it won't take away the flavor. So, okay, at this point now, we'll start mixing everything up. And trust me when I tell you, we're close to the end of this dish. It's going to be ready to go on the table. So, all right. So you just get the meat and the veggies in the pasta. Diced tomatoes in. You do not need the juice. So don't forget that you do not need that juice. Well, let's get everything stirred up. That looks good, doesn't it? Woo-hoo. Yes. I like the way that looks. Mm-hmm. And you could put more meat. I just chose not to. I really like to use a lot of meat, but today I just didn't want to do that. I wanted a little less meat and more pasta. But that's probably only going to happen this time, once in my lifetime, because I am a meatitarian. I love meat, so it's probably the only time you're going to see me put a little bit of meat in like that. All right, those 2 tablespoons of butter over in the pasta. All right, keep going. So our crushed tomatoes or your sauce if that's what you're using. So I only put half in it now. But I'm going to tell you, if you like your pasta like this and you feel like it's going to be over sauced, it's too much sauce for you, you can stop right here. But as this pasta gets colder, as it cools off, then it might get a little stiff on you. So I would just choose with this recipe to use the entire can of it because it's going to give me the texture and the taste that I'm looking for. But if you don't want to put so much in yours, it is perfectly fine. So once again, with this, there's just no right or wrong way to do this when it comes down to how much sauce you want in your pasta. So because I like a lot doesn't mean you have to. All right, I'm going to taste it at this point, and what happens is I'm going to put the rest of the crushed tomatoes in it, and then I'm going to put the seasonings in it. And after that, honey, it's ready to eat. It's ready to devour. Yes. All right, seasoning time, baby. Yes, get that in there. Ooh. I'm a little hungry, so this smells good to my sense of smell, but it smells good to my tummy. I'm not kidding either. Ooh-wee. All right. Put that garlic and onion powder in there. You know, you can use minced garlic in here too. I use that garlic powder, but you can use a minced garlic in here. All right, a little more of that accent in there. That's one ingredient that's optional, so I'm going to make sure, hopefully I don't forget to put that in the description box. But if I do, then I'm saying it. That MSG or that accent, that is optional. Put that in if you want to, because I know there's a lot of people out here that won't use that because of study. So I want to make sure I point that out. You don't have to use that necessarily. That's just me and me wanting to use that. All right, so you bring your pasta back to a boil and warm it up, because you know when you have that sauce off on the side like that, it's room temperature, either it's a little bit cool. So you just want to warm your sauce up in here. And as I said, that penne holds up good, so don't worry about that overcooking or getting a little mushy. It's not. All right, so stir a little and we are ready to plate. Yes. Time to eat. Mm-hmm. All right, you can see little bits of everything in there too. See, I'm trying to get more meat and more of those green peppers on that plate. Mm-hmm. Yes, more meat, baby. All right, just want to put a little bit of everything. All right, let's swing over to the plate real quick. All right, darlings, look at that. Ooh, delicioso, darling. And believe me, it smells as good as it looks. So garnish yours with whatever you want to garnish it with, whatever works for you. So I'm going to use crushed red pepper and cheese, but you can use parsley if you want to, especially a fresh parsley. If you're trying to impress that man or that woman, honey, put you some fresh parsley on top of here. And trust me, you can't go wrong with that kind of date after you cook for them. There you have it. Pepper steak, penne pasta. Hey, everybody. Enjoy. Appreciate y'all spending this time with me. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe, share, and by all means, leave a comment. Thanks for watching. See y'all next time. Bye.